Today, Chuck Todd had Asa Hutchinson from the governor of Arkansas and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a representative from New York, on. And I thought it was a quite interesting conversation because, Asa Hutchinson representing the party who wants small government and the government not disturbing your life, who wants privacy from us all. The Asa Hutchinson decided to say, well, in this particular case, government has to protect the life. Of course, it's an unborn life, etc., etc. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, before she even got started, had a message for Governor Asa Hutchinson that, it could apply to every red state, the ones who care the least about not only American women, but also their children. Check this out, and then tell me what you think on the other side.
Whatever you thought of Roe, that decision never forced anybody to do anything they didn't want to do. This decision now will force a woman to carry a pregnancy that they perhaps didn't want to do. Does that at all make you uncomfortable? That you're forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do? Roe didn't do that. This ruling does.
Well, no, I think it's a very appropriate ruling. Obviously, when you're looking at the government and the power of the government forcing someone to carry a child to term, you've got to think that through, and legislators are thinking that through. And whenever you're looking at the opportunity to save the unborn child, that is the rare circumstance in this case that you use the power of the state to say, unless the health of the mother is at risk, let's carry that child to term. And so when you're saving life, that's an appropriate role of the state, and that's what the courts have said the states can determine. Other states might make a different judgment. That's why we have elections. That's why we have elected representatives to make these best judgments pertaining to life, and that's what Arkansas did under this circumstance.
Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, I want to get your reaction to the governor of Arkansas, especially specifically to this issue of that he is comfortable with the government essentially forcing a woman to carry out a pregnancy.
Well, I think naturally I couldn't disagree more with Governor Hutchinson, but I think what's really important is honing in on this idea that the governor and the Republican Party and frankly the Republican legislature in Arkansas cares about the life of a woman and the life of a mother. The state of Arkansas and Governor Hutchinson governs over a state that has the third highest maternal mortality in the United States. 71% of the women who die are Black women as well. This is a state that has 26% child poverty, where 1 in 4 children are living in in poverty in the state of Arkansas, and forcing women to carry pregnancies against their will kill them. It will kill them, especially in the state of Arkansas, where there is very little to no support for life after birth in terms of health care, in terms of child care, and in terms of combating poverty. This decision and this policy will kill people, no matter what their spin and what their talking points are. And that's what the data shows, and that's what the statistics show.
Now, let's be clear here, because the governor in his messaging said, let's bring the child to term. It's not about let's bring the child to term. It is that woman that you are forcing to bring a child to term. This is not this is one of the things that are not collective decisions. It's a collective decision whether you are going to support society to ensure that kids are supported and others are supported. That's a collective decision. The decision for a woman bringing a new person into this world, that's a single decision done to one person's body. You are saying as the government that you will control that person's body and what comes out of that person's body. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did wonderfully well in pointing out that the Arkansas itself, 26% of your kids are in poverty, 70% of the child problems, women that die in child's birth are people of color in your states. And we can go on and on and on, where the support for the living in your state doesn't justify the absoluteness with which you want to force women into bringing new people into this world. You have no right. You have no standing. It is entirely immoral. And I hope America sees what your party is all about and make sure never to have you guys see the light of day. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.